On October 7, 2023, IDF Major Moishi Grunberg's life took a dramatic turn. What started as a festive night with family quickly became a fight for survival. From the heart of Gaza, he faced unimaginable challenges: rockets, tunnels, and a staggering amount of weaponry in civilian homes. Hamas claimed their sniper killed him, but Moishi is alive, well, and sharing his incredible story. Join us as we delve into Major Grunberg's harrowing experiences and uncover the true extent of the threats faced by the IDF. This is a story of resilience, bravery, and the relentless fight against terrorism.
And I hear the sirens, and it's 6:30, 6:35, and I don't understand what's going on. I thought it was probably a mistake or something, because it happens. They just go off once in a while, either Shabbos timers, whatever is going on. And then we start seeing the rockets, and it's above the airport, and the Iron Dome was being used. And then I opened my phone. We ran to the bomb shelter. I opened up my phone, and I see the first footage, the video footage of what's going on in Sderot and the Gaza settlements. And I knew this is it. This is it. And immediately I contacted my superiors, my commanders. So we didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
And before we received the full picture, so many people went, and they were the first ones to arrive, and they drove down Highway 232, which is the main highway, the famous highway, and there were terrorists on the junctions waiting for them and shooting them down. And they came by themselves, and I didn't have a gun at home. I had no idea that this is going to happen, and our guns were on base.
Yeah.
And therefore, I didn't know. I was waiting to hear the next step from my superiors and to try to go as an organized group. And during that time, I ran to Shul about 8 o'clock in the morning, Kfar Chabad. There's no such thing as a minyan shachris, 8 o'clock in the morning. But I conducted one, and I got a couple guys together, and we davened. I led the davening very, very briefly. And then after Kriyat Torah, I was going before Musaf, and I went to the bathroom, and then I saw 3 missed calls from my superior. He told me, Moshe, you got to get the guys. We're going to Tze'elim, which is a little south of, it's about 20 miles south of Gaza. And we went to Tze'elim. We were on base. We got our guns. We got our ammunition. Whatever we needed.
You said goodbye to your wife.
Said goodbye to my wife.
Sorry.
So eventually, what happened is I only got back after 3 weeks. But during that time, we were told that tomorrow we're invading. Tomorrow we're invading. And during that time, we were training and doing all these different exercises, because at the end of the day, no one prepared for this war. And as you know, we were caught. You know, it was just a total surprise, and we had to train all the soldiers. What happened is that the first week, we were assisting with all the bodies. All the bodies of our brothers and sisters and the soldiers, the fallen soldiers in the kibbutzim. We'll clean out the kibbutzim, we'll clean out all the cars, because as the combat engineers, we have all the equipment to do so. So that was the main emphasis on the first week. And then after a week or two, so the next 2 weeks, we started doing training and exercises in Tze'elim, getting ready to enter Beit Hanoun. Because already then we received our first commands that we're going to enter Beit Hanoun.
Beit Hanoun is the first stop now?
Yes, Beit Hanoun is the most northern part of the Gaza Strip. It's also the most highest part of the Gaza Strip. So the village itself is about between 60 and 80 meters above sea level. So it's located in a very strategic position, and you're able to see with the naked eye in Beit Hanoun, you're able to see the Rottenberg electricity plant on the sea. You're able to see the outskirts of Ashkelon, Kibbutz Erez, the new neighborhoods of Sderot. We're talking about 500 to 600 air meters from Beit Hanoun. And Beit Hanoun is also...
To see with naked eyes.
Yeah, naked eye. You don't need binoculars, you don't need telescope, nothing. You could see standing there. And in fact, when we entered, I looked back and you just see, the southern part of Ashkelon, the northern part of the Moetzet Eshkol and Moetzet Sha'ar HaNegev. The regional Sha'ar HaNegev is the regional council that border lines Sderot. You're able to see these, the Israeli villages, and they're just there. And you realize how easy it was for them just to cross the fence. And everything they built up over the years, all these defense systems, just...
So from a strategic point of view, that was the first one that had to go.
It had to go. And it was just mind-boggling the amount of ammunition we found. I mean, in every home, I'm talking about the outskirts, we found motorcycles that were part of the invasion on the 7th of October. We found cars,
Not in Hamas house, in Palestinian houses.
Palestinian
So
houses.
it's-
They'll differentiate. Every home, we'll put it like this: in every other home, practically speaking, there's ammunition, Kalashnikov, Dragunov, the sniper guns. We found grenades, thousands of grenades, shawaz, side bombs, booby trap, everywhere.
Under kids'
we found tunnels
beds.
under kids' beds. We found tunnels underneath schools, the UNRWA school in Beit Hanoun. We found tunnels underneath mosques, terrorist infrastructure everywhere. We found My Kampf books. Now, if we talk about what they're standing up for, the Hamas, it's not just anti-Zionist, it's not just anti-Israel. We're talking about anti-Jews. This is anti-Semitism in the most pure way, because they're taught at a very young age. We saw in the schools, they're selling Kalashnikov toys in the cafeteria, in the school. And this is what they're taught at such a young age.
So it's not only Hamas.
It's not only Hamas.
It's all of them.
There's not only, I mean,
You slept in their
you can't
houses.
differentiate. For sure, there's nowhere else to sleep. When we went through the house, we found, I mean,
Which were all evacuated. of course.
all of them were evacuated because that's what we were waiting for. That's why it took
So
us
you
a
come
while
into
to enter.
empty houses, their stuff is still there.
Most of the stuff are still there,
And all their
their belongings, and we gave them enough time to go south. That's
Right.
why it also took extra time to
because
start
you helped
the invasion.
evacuation.
We
not
helped with
Hamas.
evacuation. Waited, exactly. We waited for them. They couldn't care less. I mean, the Hamas stayed behind. They were waiting for us. When we crossed the fence on Thursday night, I believe it was the 27th of October, we were greeted with gunfire and an unbelievable amount of rockets and RPGs.
And they're hiding in the houses.
They're hiding in the
the
houses and the
civilian
mosques
houses.
and the hospitals and the schools. I mean, in the hospital in Beit Hanoun, there was a huge fight. I mean, there were terrorists in the hospital waiting for us, and they evacuated the hospital. They use
They're
all
cowards. They use
these
their.
for sure.
Are they scared of you? Are they scared of the Israeli army?
To a certain extent,
approach?
I didn't see too many terrorists up front willing to wage war from outside. We did see. I saw terrorists go up to tanks and use bombs to try to blow up the tanks. I did see some terrorists. We interrogated some terrorists, but most of them, yes, were hiding behind either civilians or hiding behind. They were in homes or mosques or schools or underground. I mean, we're the only army in the world that's waging war with an enemy that's 360 degrees. There's no other army that fights such a war.
Right.
Because you're fighting with an enemy that comes from underground, from above ground, from every direction.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes it so unique for us, for the IDF, and there's no end to the exercising and the training you need to be able to fight such a war. So I'm sure, I mean, eventually, as the weeks passed by and for the past couple months, we gained major experience. I mean, I'm sure the other armies in the world are going to have to learn from us because everyone's going to face anything that happens here has a ripple effect. And that's why everyone learns, because anything that happens here on a small scale, on a micro here in Israel doesn't stay in Israel.
Right.
It's the beginning of a trend.
Not only the amount of casualties that you create, it's nothing compared to.
Definitely.
It's incredible.
Definitely. It's 1 to 2, I think.
But you, Moishi, became famous because of you went around exploding houses, exploding buildings. You posted on Instagram something that went viral. You dedicated an explosion to your daughter's birthday, which I understand that people that don't know what's going on could be hurt. But we know we were hurt, and you fight first line, and you know what you're doing. These are all people that have to go, people that destroy, that won't just destroy. But then you were declared dead by the Arabs. Somehow they wanted you. You were wanted by Hamas. How did you turn into a?
Okay, so the story behind that explosion is that I didn't post it myself. What happened is that I have one daughter. Her name's Ella. She's a princess, and I hadn't seen her for about 4 weeks, or I think it was 5 weeks.
How old is she?
She's now 2 years and 4 months, or 5 months.
Maybe.
So, my wife said, when I left, present to us something, dedicate for us something, because at the end of the day, I have no communications with her. There's no phones, and I have no ability to talk to her.
Yeah.
And we think about them all the time. And to a certain extent, for the people at the home front, it's much harder and much more challenging than the people in Gaza, because we have camaraderie, we have our friends, we're fighting together. And so I said to one of the cameramen, we had actually, it was a very experienced cameraman. His name is Zagman. He's an award-winning photographer. I told him, please take a short video clip and I'll send it to my wife. I'll get someone in the
So it was
backstage.
dedicated to her, not to
No, to my daughter.
Right.
Just send it for her to know that I'm celebrating the birthday from afar. And so I dedicated the famous the blowing up, and it was actually 10 minutes before the ceasefire, because my company received orders to clean up a certain neighborhood in Beit Hanoun, and we hadn't finished the job, and we tried to get as much as done before the ceasefire, knowing that at 7 o'clock we wouldn't be able to do it anymore. Whatever's still standing, we're going to have to deal with. And so I blew it up, and I sent it to my wife, and she sent it on the family. And next thing we know, it went viral, and I had no idea what was going on. And to the fact that I had 2-3 weeks later, when eventually I got out, we had a 24-hour break in Ashkelon. I opened up my phone, and I have 1,400 personal WhatsApp messages, tens of thousands of hate mail, and Facebook and Instagram and all over the place. And it was just, it was crazy. And a couple weeks later, when my soldier, Kobi Dvaz was killed, so the headline was killed by a sniper in Gaza. The headline was a soldier from the 271 Battalion was killed. So it was picked up all over Twitter that it was me. So I put out that I was killed. So it went viral, and it went on Al Jazeera, and it was on Kuwait News and all these different websites, and out.
As long as they know you're alive still.
Thank God. I mean, I know I got so many care messages. Yeah, so many.
They should still fear.
It's an experience.
For their own lives.
I have to say, it was an experience to die and to go through such an experience it's pretty intense. But I know that at the end of the day we were doing the right thing. And you know what? The most important thing is that at the end of the day, we're the insurance policy for worldwide Jewry. Because Jews around the world know. I mean, if worse comes to worse, and we're seeing it now in Europe and parts of the States and Canada, whatever, Australia, wherever it is, that they cannot live there as free Jews anymore. Yeah. They could always come come here to Israel. Yeah. Now, here in Israel, I'm not saying it's easy, and it's far from easy, but we could stand up for our own. Yeah. We could stand up and fight our own wars, and that's what we have to continue to do.